Have you ever seriously stopped and wondered how the complex things you use every single day are actually made? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain and dive into the hidden world of manufacturing to see exactly how all those unique custom-made items come to life. Okay, so let's kick things off with this idea. Any complex object you see isn't just one thing. It has many, many origins. You've got to think of it like a collection of different parts, and each one of those parts has its own unique backstory for how it was made. I mean, really think about it for a second. A car has that solid, heavy engine block, right? But it also has those smooth, perfectly curved body panels. And then there's the detailed plastic dashboard and the crystal clear headlights. Every single one of those pieces is wildly different in its material and its shape. So how in the world can one factory possibly make all of them? And that question, right there, that gets us to the heart of what we can call the production puzzle. See, it turns out that making a million of the exact same thing is one kind of challenge. But making just a few of many different things, that's a whole other, way more complex puzzle to solve. You know, when you picture a factory, you probably think of a classic assembly line, right? Robots and machines just doing the same task over and over and over again. And yeah, that setup is perfect for pumping out identical soda cans, but that whole system just completely breaks down the second every single item coming down the line is unique. And this really shows you the two completely different worlds of manufacturing. On one side, you have line production. That is all about volume. It's simple, it's linear, it's repetitive. But on the other side, you've got job shop production, which is built for variety. Its goal is to make lots of different items in small batches, which means the process is super complex, and the path each part takes is anything but a straight line. So how do you solve this puzzle of making so many different, unique parts? Well, the answer is the hero of our story today, the job shop. So a job shop isn't just one single rigid assembly line. No way. It's much better to think of it as a flexible network of super specialized workshops. You might have one shop that's all about shaping metal, another that's an expert in molding plastics, and a third that handles painting and finishing. Each part travels on its own custom route from one shop to the next, getting exactly what it needs to become a finished product. Now, as you can imagine, all this flexibility comes with some massive challenges. You have to juggle tight customer deadlines for hundreds of different orders all at the same time. And every single time a machine switches from making one part to another, there's what's called setup time, which costs money and brings production to a halt. Trying to manage all of this requires an incredibly sophisticated schedule. It is a constant, high-stakes balancing act. To really get a feel for this, let's go on a quick tour of some of these shops. We'll start with the ones that shape and form metal. This is where the raw strength of our products really comes from. First up is casting, and this is one of the oldest manufacturing methods there is. It's pretty straightforward. You melt metal down into a liquid, you pour it into a custom mold, and then you just let it cool and harden. This whole process is perfect for creating really large, complex, and incredibly solid shapes from scratch. And you see the results of casting pretty much everywhere, from the engine block inside your car to the heavy manhole cover on the street. It's all about creating that strong, foundational shape right from the get-go. Next, let's visit the forging shop. For this one, just picture an old-school blacksmith with a hammer. Forging involves heating metal until it's red hot and kind of soft, then using immense force to press or hammer it into shape. But what's so amazing about this is that it doesn't just change the metal shape, it actually compresses its internal structure, making it unbelievably strong and durable. And this is exactly why forging is used for things that absolutely, positively cannot be allowed to fail. Think about high-quality knives that hold an edge forever, the wrench in your toolbox, or those critical components buried deep inside a car's transmission. They are all forged for maximum strength. All right, our last stop in the metalworks is the pressing shop. Here, instead of working with molten or red-hot metal, we start with a flat sheet. That sheet gets placed between two massive, custom-shaped molds, and then a machine applies hundreds of tons of force to stamp it into a three-dimensional shape in just a blink of an eye.
And this process is how we get those smooth, perfectly curved surfaces on so many products we use. The doors and the hood of a car, the metal casing on your washing machine, or even a stainless steel kitchen sink. That is all the power of the press at work.
Okay, so we've seen the raw power of the metalworks. Now let's shift gears and enter the super versatile, high-tech world of plastics. Now, the undisputed king of plastic production is a process called injection molding. It's kind of like casting, but with a high-tech twist.
Pellets of plastic are melted down and then shot under extremely high pressure into a very precisely machined mold. The plastic fills every single nook and cranny, cools almost instantly, and bam! Out pops a perfect, solid part.
This process is the reason we can have such incredibly detailed and complex plastic goods. Your smartphone case, all the intricate little pieces of a model airplane kit, even the tiny cap on a water bottle, they were all born inside an injection mold.
But what about hollow things, like bottles? Well, for that, we go to the blow molding shop. Here, they take a tube of hot, soft plastic and place it inside a mold. Then, air is blown into the tube, which inflates it just like a balloon until it pushes against the walls of the mold and takes on its shape.
And this beautifully simple process is responsible for creating almost every hollow plastic container you can possibly think of, from the PET bottle for your soda all the way to a sturdy tank you might use for storing liquids.
So, our parts have been cast, forged, pressed, and molded. But believe it or not, they're still not finished. The journey continues to a whole series of shops that add the final touches, bringing everything together. So, once they're shaped, metal parts might head to a welding shop to be permanently joined together. From there, a lot of parts will go to painting, which gives them both protection from the elements and that final polished look. After that, it's off to assembly, where all the individual components we've seen, metal and plastic alike, are finally brought together. And the last, absolutely crucial stop is inspection, where everything gets checked to make sure it meets the highest quality standards.
So as you can see, there is no single straight path. That car door started as a flat sheet in a press shop. Then it visited welding, then painting, and finally assembly. The engine block? It began in a casting shop and followed a completely different route. The job shop is this invisible network that masterfully manages all these unique journeys all at the same time.
So, the next time you hold your phone, I want you to really look at it. It's got a forged metal frame for strength, probably an injection molded case for all that detail, and perfectly polished glass. Now that you know the language of manufacturing, can you kind of trace their journeys back through the job shop? Pretty cool to think about, right? Thanks for joining us.